Oh, Hasbro. Oh, Walmart. You guys. You guys. Oh, man. Okay, so I am going to review this figure, right? I am going to review him. I'm going to review him first. But this is not just a figure review. This video is specifically meant to address Hasbro and Walmart and their horrible exclusive issues. And I'm probably going to just touch a little bit on why, like, Hasbro's totally lost their way with Star Wars. Because, man, the things they produce are great. But the quantity, the variety, and the distribution is still miserable. But anyways, let's set that off to the side. Let's set these guys off to the side. Of course, we're only talking about the middle figure, but we're talking about, you know, the things they're holding. So this is the Djarin, the Mandalorian, Walmart exclusive figure. Get out of there, clone trooper gun. This thing, I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered 2 of them. And we'll get on that later. Anyways, the card, a lot of people have been talking bad about because it's a very low resolution image. And no, the camera is zoomed in. That's just the resolution of the image. Is that all little... Man, isn't it crazy how many fibers there are? Like, zoom in close on something. You'll see so many fibers and dust particles. It's crazy. But yeah, that's the resolution of that image. Not very good. Not the best card back ever. I'm honestly not complaining that my second one got canceled because I was going to keep the second one carded, but that resolution, man, I don't need it. Then you can see there's the exclusive figure, then some other figures that you probably can never find in stores. Yeah, it's a card back. It's not bad. It is individually numbered. It is its own numbered figure because it's Djarin. So that's the card. Not bad. Let's talk about the figure. So the figure comes with some pretty notable accessories that differentiate it from, you know, the standard Beskar Mandalorian. First, you have the Camtono of Beskar, and I meant to get out Wilro Hood to compare his Camtono, I guess, but it's basically just a more solid piece of plastic version of this. It has like the Rebel logo on the bottom. I'm not too worried about showing you guys. I don't think anyone really cares. But yeah, it's a cute little Camtono. It's got some paint on it. You can. This is the reason why I keep the thumbnail long. If you wanted to know, you can kind of pry that open. Then hey, look, there's some Beskar. Some Beskar inside. I don't know what kind of accent that's supposed to be. But yeah, you have like a block of Beskar right there. It's got a little Imperial logo. It's got some swirly effect, which honestly works for Beskar, so that's nice. So you have that, and these are going to stay in here forever. And then you have an individual slab of Beskar, which is so tiny. It's so tiny. But there you go, little individual slab. And you can just put that in there. And you can take the lid off, too. Kind of lips in. Be careful not to, like, tear it. But yeah, you can take that off if you want. And just kind of put that back in. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool accessory. I'll probably keep my Durasteel Mando with it because it kind of makes the most sense with him. But yeah, you get the little Camtono. And then, very notably, you get little Grogu. We finally have a TVC child. We have the asset. Like a year and a half after the show debuted. That's great. I love it. Anyways... Yeah, as you can see, the figure can hold him pretty well. I can't call it it's a him. It's a little baby. Very, very small little figure. The Black Series one's about that big, so it's definitely smaller. It might still be a little too big, but I mean, every like 3 3/4 inch Yodas have been too big, so who really cares? The head is so adorable. He actually does have like the 2 different colors in the eyes, which is a very nice little detail. He's got the nice differentiation of the cloth, which the initial Black Series release didn't. All of the different Baby Yodas are going to have different heads. So I think this one's more of like kind of like a neutral head, which is probably one of the ones you'll want the most. And then he's got his little arms. And he honestly has a lot of good head articulation. You can move his head up a lot. Like if you want him, get in focus. If you want him like hugging Din's leg, you can have him doing that. You can have him with his arms out. You can have him, like, he's really expressive for how tiny he is. I really do like that. He's a nice little figure. You can be careful. You can very easily pop the arms out if you want to dismember your Grogu. but I don't recommend doing that. And the head can also pop off easily, so definitely be careful, because you might you might end up in a little bit of a pickle there. But if you do not get this set, Grogu will be released individually with like a pram. I do think he'll have a different head sculpt though. But yeah, you get a little Grogu, which is much, much needed for the collection. And then you have Djarin himself. And this release of the Vintage Collection figure is... Anyways, this release of the Vintage Collection figure is much different. Unlike the Black Series, it was like pretty much just a straight up reissue, except he had a removable helmet, because this one has battle damage. Now, granted, Djarin didn't really get this dinged up ever, really. The closest he ever really came to this was the finale of Season 1, after he got blasted away by Moff Gideon. But you can see the helmet right there. Look at how damaged that is. That looks really cool. I love the damage on that helmet. And I did touch up the helmets with black and silver Sharpie. If yours is not filled in entirely in the sculpt of the visor and is going over the sculpt of the visor, black and silver Sharpie is your best friend. Some people hear Sharpie and they go, "Oh, you Sharpie your figures? Oh, that's horrible." Look. Do these look bad to you at all? No, they look great. They look phenomenal. Use the black and silver Sharpies if you want them looking this great. Because honestly, they didn't look nearly that good out of the box. But the main thing with this figure is the head sculpt. And I personally think this version of the head is leagues and bounds better than the Black Series version. I just feel like it is. It has a little bit of a stubble going on, which is nice. Looks a lot like Pedro. It does kind of have a more messier hairstyle, so it doesn't really match Season 2 too much. But come on, that's his hair. Who cares? But yeah, really great head sculpt. It is too big to fit in the helmet, obviously, which honestly makes this one a lot better, because the Black Series one was at the mercy of actually having a removable helmet, but this one's an interchangeable head. So that's really nice. And it's pretty easy to pop it off and to give it to your other Mandos if you want him unhelmeted with the clean Beskar or with the Durasteel armor. So yeah, that's really nice. And you can see just the weathering and the damage all over is really good. I guess comparing it to the clean one. I love the different colors and the tones. It looks really nice. It's really nice how damaged it is. The jetpacks are pretty much the same, which, you know, don't really need that changed. Still has the same cape. Overall, it's not too different. Pretty much has the same rifle, and also pretty much has the same pistol. I think the pistol may be a little darker, just a little bit, but it's pretty much the same pistol. So yeah, and it's... Come on, man, this figure's great. You can remove the backpack if you want, and you can put the rifle on the back, just like you saw with the Durasteel figure, so that's nice. But, ooh, that fell. But yeah, it's so nice you can actually have the cape with the jetpack, unlike the Black Series one. And he's just a really cool, fun figure. His articulation's pretty basic. Yeah, I say pretty basic. It's actually really good, but it's basic for TVC. It's not really anything, like, extraordinary. Double ball joint at the head, ball hinges at the shoulders, ball hinges and swivels at the elbows. You do have hinges at the wrist. You can have him hold the helmet by, like, the ball peg, which is what I normally do. So I think that's a really good way to have him holding the helmet. It's not perfect because he's not, like, holding it, but he's holding it. You have the waist. You have the hips that do the Black Series stuff. Or do the TVC stuff, I should say. The knees that do the knee things, the boots, the feet. Unfortunately, no ankle tilt, which, oh man, I wish they'd give him ankle tilt, but it's not too bad. Like I've said before, 3 1/4 inch doesn't need it, but it's always appreciated. So that's pretty much it with the review. It's a really great release. Honestly, it should have been mainline, but honestly, you can still get Mando and Grogu separately, you know, at retail, like you'll ever find it. But, man, I just gotta say, with Walmart, how they handled this was abysmal. So I pre-ordered it, right? I pre-ordered this set. I pre-ordered 2 of them. They did Russian roulette, canceling people's pre-orders for this thing. Why is it tilting? Uh, and unfortunately, both of mine got the axe. And I was very upset about that because I really wanted this release. I was kind of in denial for a little bit, like, oh, I really don't need it. But I was like, come on, man, I freaking need this. So I went to eBay and I paid $30. Which honestly isn't too bad because after shipping from Walmart it would be $25, and I paid $30 shipped on eBay, so it's not the worst. But man, this is the first time in a long time I have overpaid like a scalper price for a new figure release. And honestly, good luck finding this. You'll never see it in stores, probably. Walmart just doesn't care about collectibles at all. And that's unfortunate because they talk about being like the replacement of Toys R Us because Toys R Us is gone. And like, hey, Walmart's got the biggest selection of toys. Except they don't. The aisle's always empty. And note how it's always the boy aisle. Like the action figure aisle that's empty. The girl aisle's never really empty. Like the dolls, the preschool stuff. That's usually pretty full. But for some reason, they just cannot keep the action figures in. And they honestly, this has been going on with Walmart for years, right? Look at Transformers The Last Knight. Hot Rod was an exclusive character to Walmart. And his figures, there's only like the flip change one that actually appeared in stores. The Deluxe, the Little Legion class, all that went to Ollie's, went to Tuesday Morning like a year or two later. Because they never made it to Walmart. Ever. I don't understand what's going on with the Walmart distribution stuff. It's very unfortunate that Hasbro and Walmart can't really work this out. But honestly, one of my main issues with this is, I mean, Walmart's scalping their own stuff, too. They scalped the incinerator. I initially paid like $30 for the Vintage Collection Incinerator Trooper, and then I had to go back and have them, price adjust for my pre-order. And that was direct from Walmart, too. $30. Walmart's horrible. Walmart is honestly the worst exclusive retailer ever. Honestly, I can't think of one that's worse. Because at least you can decently pre-order from GameStop. You can pre-order from Hasbro Pulse. And, these pre-orders are guaranteed because they know how to manage their inventory. Walmart, they're like, oh, I don't think we have enough. Cancel the pre-orders. Oh, wait, we got more. Let's sell them. That's what they did. Why didn't they just keep the pre-orders? And then once they got more, shipped the pre-orders. What? I know why. Because they sold them at the higher price. Because Walmart is seriously becoming a scalper. And I reached out to Hasbro about this. I figured Hasbro would actually care. But they said, well, manufacturers set their, we suggest, we have the manufacturer's suggested retail price. However, it is ultimately up to the retailer to decide the price of the they will be charging for the item. What? Are you going to back those scummy business practices? It just shows that Hasbro truly doesn't care as long as they make their money, And I mean, that makes sense. But still, if they keep doing this stuff, people are going to be buying less, they're going to be dropping out. Look at how many people are dropping out of G.I. Joe Classified because of that Cobra Island BS. I would be way more into G.I. Joe Classified if that Cobra Island thing wasn't a thing. But it is. Target sucks, too. Honestly, it's just a shame that Hasbro doesn't produce as much as they did. Especially with the exclusives. I remember you could walk into a Toys R Us, into a Walmart, into a Target, into a Kmart. Remember Kmart? And they would have pegs and pegs and pegs of the exclusives. The exclusives are what draw you to go to the store. And you stay there and buy the normal retail products at that store. The exclusives draw you in. The exclusives aren't things that you can just never find, and you keep haunting the store over and over. I mean, I guess they're okay with that because, while I'm here looking for this stupid Djarin, I might as well get some toilet paper. It's horrible. It's really horrible, and I just want to rant about it. There isn't much we can do about it. But Hasbro needs to understand we're not happy about this. I'm not happy that Hasbro just willingly supports Walmart scalping, their own exclusives and canceling pre-orders and basically selling it out, behind your back. Imagine you're in line shopping for something and you have something in your cart and someone grabs it out of your cart, rings out with it and goes and you're like, what the hell? And you talk to an employee and they're like, well, sorry, nothing we can really do. How about a $10 gift card? Is that okay for you? Man... why can't things be like 2010 again? And you can just walk into a store and just find everything. The toy industry's definitely changed. I've talked about it before. Some people in the comments of like my video talking about that are like, what do you mean the toy industry's changed? The toy industry has changed, man. Drastically. And severely. And it's becoming one of those things where like there is such a divide between toys for adults and toys for children. And that divide is becoming wider and wider. The toys for kids are basically becoming generic crap that collectors have zero interest in, and kids are losing interest in, I'm sure. And then the collector stuff is becoming very elusive and hard to find and not really obtainable. And that's genuinely unfortunate. Because as collectors, we just want to give the company, our money. I mean, I understand like SDCC exclusives. Those are meant to be scarce. Like some of the choices they make for those exclusives, I don't agree with. But, some exclusives are meant to be scarce. Some things are meant to be more hard to get. But not something like a Walmart, not something with Mandalorian and Grogu. Look at this. This would fly off shelves if each store got like 20, 30 in stock. Even kids and parents would be like, oh my gosh, it's the Mandalorian and Grogu. I want this. What? I mean, is all the shipment that's supposed to be in the stores just sitting at a warehouse and this will show up at Tuesday morning or Ollie's in a year or like 6 months? Is that what's going to happen? If that happens, let it be known that I called that, by the way. Let it be known. Because I don't think anyone's reported seeing this in stores at all. I don't know if it ever will show up in stores. And that's really unfortunate, I guess. It's really unfortunate. But you know what? That's the reality we're currently in. I mean, the toy industry's always had weird mess-ups like this, right? There's always been stuff that gets canceled and stuff that gets, thrown by the wayside. Like, look at the last, Kenner Star Wars figures. Those didn't get much of a release because the line was dying out. But I feel like by now they should kind of know a little better. And of course, at the end of the day, this is a first world problem, right? This is a first world problem. At the end of the day, I got my stupid toy. Oh no, I had to pay a little bit more for it. But the thing is, this issue could genuinely, deeply harm the toy industry. Just imagine these exclusives becoming more and more scarce, collectors becoming more and more upset, people stop buying stuff, or retailers stop buying stuff because, they're like, oh, these things don't really sell too well. We need to make way for more blah 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 Bakugan, whatever. I don't know why I said Bakugan. And these toy lines just die. I think Star Wars is really dying out, man. I remember 10 years ago, you could walk into an aisle, and it was half Star Wars, Like, Star Wars had its own aisle at Toys R Us. Seriously. And now all you can really find is a couple Mission Fleet things. You might see 1 or 2 Black Series hanging on the pegs. Maybe a TVC figure, just one. And then Grogu. And even then, after Christmas, Grogu's pretty much gone. Because everyone wanted a Grogu for Christmas. Now, granted, Star Wars sales are up just because of this little guy. Hasbro did say that Star Wars sales are up, which is good. But, unfortunately, I can tell you, I've been spending so little on Hasbro Star Wars through the past few years because I just collect TVC. And they just throw me breadcrumbs, That's all they throw me. Like, they maybe, release like 10 figures a year for me. And that's, with TVC pricing, maybe a little over $100 is what I spend on Hasbro Star Wars every year, like for new stuff. And for a year, that's not much at all. Hasbro Transformers, on the other hand, which is a totally different team, totally different division, might as well be a totally different company, I'd probably give them thousands a year because they keep pumping out some amazing stuff. Anyways, I think I've been ranting long enough. I think my points have been made that this thing shouldn't be so elusive. It shouldn't. This is the main 2 characters from the biggest streaming service, show hit pretty much ever. And they, like, I never expected the Mandalorian to be a household name, but it's a household name. Everyone knows who and what a Mandalorian is, and that is awesome. Unfortunately, you just can't find any toys of him ever anymore. At all, actually, ever. I don't think you really can. Maybe the Lego set, but that's because Lego knows what they're doing. They give each and every individual thing a SKU, so they keep restocking each individual thing. But unfortunately, not really. I mean, this had its own SKU. Why did Walmart get 1,000 Mission Fleet Din Djarins and none of these? Oh man, I'm done. I'm done talking. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.